Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5 a.m. and my name's John Wright. And you know what? I watched a little bit of the news this morning. I see Donald Trump's going through a little trauma drama, and I kind of love it. I love to think that, I write the news right here, and then I hear, then me and Ernie starts talking about it. He says, "Well, you're watching the news," and I said, "Well, I don't watch the news. I write the news," and I'm not really joking in a way because he knew that I sent all this here off across the United States of America, and I'm like, "Can't you hear the music now?" I mean, isn't this fun? And it's like when I started having problems with my nephew and them and everything, they want to think, "Oh, nothing was going on around here." That was a goddamn bunch of bullshit. They know that there's been a conflict of here. I've got, you know, toilet placards for men and women's bathrooms outside, and I have one that I have around my neck when I go outside now. So, hey man, if you want to dump over here and tell me some more of your shit, I'm just willing to goddamn listen to it, you know. And like this here shirt right here, I mean, do you do you think that I just got this hooked up just yesterday? No, when I figured out what this was, I had it documented with this commemorative shirt right here. God damn them. Fucking pulling this shit on me. Marietta and her goddamn. "You think you're so goddamn smart, John Thomas Wright. You think you're so goddamn..." She'd scream God's name in my face like to glorify it. Well, I have seen enough smoke blown up my ass, and I refuse to let the smoke be blown up yours. Or yours. Or yours. Oh, I just love that one. All this power. And here's a picture of my dad right here. If anybody that's out there, remember old George Wright down at that fucking bowling alley? Well, there's a picture of old George right there. That son of a gun. And I'll tell you what, I should put my sunglasses on, but I'll have to go out and truck around and find them. Oh, look at that. There, we got a championship belt over there. I thought about offering it to the first guy out here that can come up here and offer to fucking kick my ass. "Oh, I'll just give you a goddamn championship belt too so you can take it home, fucking stick it on your fucking mantle, just shine it goddamn up. But if you don't beat me up, I'm going to take that. I'm going to beat your fucking head in with it when I'm done. Just for ceremonial purposes, of course. But that's besides the point. Rawr. I just love Britney Spears, by the way. Did you know that Britney Spears has her dad's name is Jamie L. Spears? And Jamie L. Spears has had problems, and his daughter has had problems. Donald Trump went and seen Jamie L. Spears. And did you know that Donald Trump had that bowling alley at the White House revitalized, updated since Richard Nixon? Richard Nixon was the one that updated it and possibly put it in. I can't quite remember what it was, but Richard Nixon, I think, put the bowling lane in. That bowling lane was put in, the hijacking and everything. I mean, if you start linking things back together to the simplest points of things, boy, I tell you, I'd watch the bowling alleys across the United States of America. I would go in and I'd look at the Veterans Bowling League, the VFW. I know because I run bowling alleys, remember? I know all about bowling alleys, and I know all about leagues, and I know all about bowlers. And I know what kind of bowlers that are in there. Bowlers that have goddamn guns. There's a lot of people that owns guns and stuff that comes in bowling alleys. There's also Democratic people too. And there's a great big conflict and rift that was going on in the bowling alleys in Lewis County, and I just won't put up with it. I'm middle of the road. I don't care whether you're a Democrat. I don't care whether you're a fucking Republican. I have to deal with both of you guys. If I was to say, well, I'm a Republican, I'm a goddamn Democrat, you're not going to get along with anybody. You're going to have to find some fucking even stance in the middle. Here. The cops are the Republicans that are just no more than the drug lords, you know, because they're passing drugs between the two of them. Then they're catching these people in between them, and they're saying they're the bad guys. You know, and they hardly ever get these drug addicts, but they always catch people that's in between that has jobs and stuff and get leaned on. Well, Jesus Christ, if they're getting solicited to buy drugs, and then the people that's soliciting them, you know, these people go, hey man, hey Tonio, I mean, Tonio over here, yeah man, I got some Panama Red, you know, hey, referee want to ride, you know, here, they make a deal, hey, you know, well, I like it now that it's all legal down at the stores. Well, you know what, also I think, if you're going to call it what it is, just say it's going to cost 10% for law enforcement protection inside of town, because apparently they're not getting paid enough. There's no incentive there for them to protect these buildings if these people aren't paying protection. They won't do their fucking job. Here, they have a job to serve and protect the public. Now they want extra for doing the business and stuff. It's good that the businesses actually hire their own security people and have security footage and stuff that goes along with everything. Now, as far as law enforcement goes, what they really should do is, I also seen a thing that law enforcement communities are exiting law enforcement throughout the United States. Well, that doesn't surprise me either, since their tail's about ready to bite them in the goddamn ass, you know. So what, these are old-time Republican gun-toting strangers want to get out of office before they're eliminated and their pensions get taken away? Well, that was part of my plan to begin with. I told Ernie all about this. Matter of fact, what I like is when I tell Ernie what's going to happen prior to it happen. Just like I said, I like to say that I know the news today. And you know what I tell Ernie is, I said, you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to come here and I'm going to tell you something before it ever happens or before you ever hear it. I said, you know, I could stop Donald Trump's problems overnight. I could stop Donald Trump's problem with just one decision, and that's just to do it. And, you know, he looked at me like, well, you're just full of shit. I looked right at him and said, I just filed a bankruptcy. I just stopped all the garnishments. I just stopped everything. I'd stopped all the court cases and stuff off until after the election, and I just turn around and say, look, I had to do this. This is what I had to do and stuff. But you know what Donald Trump did was he doubled down and he played it out too goddamn long, and he's got too much of this stuff exposed now. He don't even have the money to pay the Jean Carroll case. He doesn't have money to pay anything. He is bankrupted exactly like I told Ernie. It's coming out now that Donald Trump's bankrupt. I've got more money than Donald Trump probably. I've got more real thing that's mine that nobody can lay goddamn claim on. But there is nothing that Donald Trump's got that he can't lay claim on unless he files a bankruptcy. And you know, they could take everything, I think, except $35,000 worth of his assets unless they've changed it, you know. But I think it's $35,000 personal assets, and I don't give a fuck whether Donald Trump even has that. Matter of fact, after it's all over and he's living in a trailer park someplace, and you know, to be honest with you, I seen him without his makeup on, and he don't even look like the same guy that you see at the podium. I mean, you could tell it's him, but man, I tell you, it does not look like this guy. Donald Trump is not what he claims to be. You take that makeup and stuff off of him, and Joe Biden looks healthier than Donald Trump even. Whether people realize it or not, that's up to them. You know, but I told Ernie here that, you know, next, the one thing that he could do is bankruptcy. And today, I hear bankruptcy on the news. I hear him talking about bankruptcy on NSNBC. And right there, it tells me that I was 2 days ahead of the thing. And I like being fucking proved. I like to tell them what's going to happen before it happens. And it's just like the other day, I told them things that was going to. I said something about. I said something about something else, and it came true too. And then the other day, there was a car that got in the wreck, and I was talked about this, I think, on one of the tapes here. That, sometimes I get feelings that things may happen, and or I may not have, but I was just saying to myself, regardless, I was just saying to myself about a wreck. And Ernie, I seen him about 1 o'clock or so the other day, and last week, and he says, "Geez, did you see that wreck this morning?" I said, I never heard a goddamn thing. I slept through everything. I actually sleep a little bit better now that I feel a lot better. I tell you. Here, you know what? If I say that I believe in God, I'm made out to be a nut because I'm religious. And if I deny the God in heaven, I'm going to suffer a worse price than that. Well, I could pay now or I could pay then. Well, I just assume pay now, and I'll tell you, I've had an experience where I've prayed and God came over me. I've been with somebody else and God came over them. Whether they'd come forward and say the same thing, that's up to them. But I will say that it's happened other times when I've either been with someone else or in a different situation, and it always left me feeling very well, And I can say that, in my videos, you look back and you find the Taylor Swift one. You know what? I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to find it right after this one right here. And I think I'm going to play it, and I think I'm going to spin it and see what you guys think. Because I tell you what, something happened that night, and that was the beginning of the end of Donald Trump. That was true. And you can look back, and it's dated in time. And you can see, and I get all worked up and stuff, and it just comes out automatically. It's almost like, I don't know what to say. Well, I'll tell you what, you'd have to look the video, and if you don't believe me, more power to you. Because I'll tell you what, at least I put it out there for you. You can believe it or not, but I believe that Donald Trump's done. I believe that Donald Trump's the Antichrist. I believe that Donald Trump's been finished. And I also believe that some strange way, the Holy Father, I think, may have used me in some strange way. Beyond that, I'm telling you, I had put a cross on the house down there down at my mother's place at 561 Northwest Rhode Island, and everybody in the neighborhood can contest to it that I put it there. Even my ex-wife, everybody I know, even my son, and everybody knows that house had a cross on it. That lives in that town. You could not miss it. It's right there where no one can miss not seeing it. On Rhode Island Place right there. And I'll tell you what, magic happened. I can't tell you how much happiest I am knowing that the truth can set you free. I challenge anybody. $10,000 if you could prove me wrong that my dad wasn't the Zodiac Killer or D.B. Cooper. I might have to make you payments, $1,000 a month, but for 10 months you're going to get $1,000. I guarantee it, because I'd love to be proved wrong. And right up there, Millhouse Smokehouse in Morton, Washington. Look at the pictures and stuff. They even have a dog, a Norjack. I think it's a Norjack. It's similar to the dog my dad gave me too, Candy. And I think other people seen that dog. My dad's little dog that I had, Candy. Quicker than liquor, faster than lightning and quicker than liquor. Quicker than liquor and faster than lightning. What, like an airplane shooting through the sky like a 727? My dad was the hijacker. I didn't understand it. But he gave me enough clues and stuff to find his trail, and he knew that I'd get it back. And this is the revenge of George Wright before it ever happened. You know, sometimes things happen for reasons that no one can explain. Well, I'm telling you, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And whether you believe me or not, there's a picture of me on this little baby thing. I never put it on there. There's a picture of my brother Jerry on the coffee cup. There's a picture of my dad right here. I got an FBI book right here that has my grandmother's house on it. You know, I could tell you of a story of a boy and a dog named Lassie. We had a collie named like that, and that little boy and me would be walking. I had a dog like this here called Lady, not Lassie, Lady. Oh yeah, and we had a cat named Mama Kitty. So I had a lady and a mama watching over me. A lady and a mama, you know, Jesus Christ. Strange things. They had a rabbit cage for me. They had a piano for my sister Bonnie. I asked my sister Bonnie, I said, why were you over there doing that? She says, I was doing that just so I could play better. I wonder if that has anything to do with taking her daughter to the Linda Wagner School of Dance, because she was forcing her daughter to be a better thing at something. Children being forced to do something does not interest children. They don't very well like it. I don't understand what they've done in many things, but a lot of things I do understand things. I would have never raised people like that. I would have never allowed things like that to happen. I would have never went along with a family hiding behind a dog and a cat, you know, literally. Lassie. I mean, this here resonates to me. That's why I picked it up when I seen it. I thought, well, there's her dog. And a little red-headed kid, like his little red-headed stepchild. I wonder what goes on through some people's heads. Lassie, assy. You know, he made an assy out of me. Like Lassie the assy or something like that. You know, they look and they read in the crimes and stuff. You know, here you go. Here's another one. Cold cases. This is dusty. I could see the dust on it. I'll just wipe it off. I'm so technical. Cold cases. You know, when my life and stories that has to do with me and my life and my family, I find in these books, Zodiac Killer and stuff like this, and oh, I was at this place. Oh, I was here. I was, you know, oh, not good. And then we got this book on winning bowling from Earl Anthony. And you know, we got the bowling alley in Morton, Washington. We got the, you know, my dad told me, he says they got when you become president, John, they got a bowling alley in the basement of the White House. Actually, I don't think it's in the basement of the White House. I think it's a one-lane bowling alley that's actually across the street from the White House. I'm not sure. Or there's one over there, and there's one over here at the White House. There was a two-lane bowling alley, I think, and then they put one in. But I did look it up and looked at it, and I did see who put it in. It was Richard Milhouse Nixon. And, I mean, then the bowling alley here, it was all what they were doing. And they're running and they're following signs. And the Fairharts, they have a mill house in their family too. And the evidence is at the museum in Morton, Washington, across from 101 Main Street. There's where the Twin Star Credit Union is. Right across the street's the museum, and then the Fairharts' little saga place that's over there. It says the Fairheart Family Saga, and it's the deal from the river to the sea. Hey, you know what? If it wasn't so, George Fairheart wouldn't have been jumping up and down in front of me telling me, my dad's your slave. Now, you know, if somebody stood in front of my son Matthew and said, now your dad's my slave, and then my son was ran off or something, or my son's been threatened because of such a thing, because the picture that I have of my son is him wearing a green shirt, such like Rick Rife, that was framed for the murder of the Merwins, and it was my brother Jerry that did such a thing, and he's hiding behind the barbed wire fence on the Middle Fork Road. Matter of fact, I got pictures and stuff down here, and I'm going to be going through them, and I'm going to start going over the cases. And I'm going to step out of this, and I'm going to upload this, and I'm going to come back with the cases and stuff today, and I'm going to start working through stuff again. And we're going to work through this here thing. And if I sing and stuff, I'll probably be out here singing a little bit, waving to people going by. I'll probably wave to the cops today when they come by, and I'll wave to them in the morning. They know I'm here, they know they're there, and we're kind of like we're in a standoff. And you know what? All I can say is I'm not doing that to you, but I'm doing that for everything that they stand for that's wrong. They know I'm standing right here, and I'm blatantly showing them. I put a scene on the side of this here bowling alley, on the side of my wall of my 37-foot motorhome, and I will never back down, because you know what? I've stood at the gates of hell, and I don't like the looks of them. And I don't want you to go straight to hell either. And you know what? I do believe Donald Trump's the Antichrist, and somehow I'm the yin and the yang of the situation because of the fact that things happen. And I'm going to upload that video next after this of Red by Taylor Swift and what happened. Let's just see what happened. See how you feel. How do you feel today? Are you ready? Are you ready? Anyway, my name's John Wright, and I'm going to get back with you. I'm going to try to upload this. Thank you very much for being here this morning, and be safe and be diligent today. Watch out. There's bad people out there in America. They've been led astray by some strange ex-president that doesn't want to go away. Bye-bye. I'll be back.